Hello and welcome back to Crit and Crit. I'm Scint.
I'm Axion.
And we are continuing our discussion of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince while we play through Final Fantasy V. Can we redo that intro? Just for the sake of it?
No.
But maybe I don't like the way it happened.
Well, you can deal.
No, I can't deal. In fact, I'm going to go through and edit this video without you knowing and let you pretend it's always been that way.
Good luck with that. All the editing stuff is on my computer.
Or is it?
It literally is. I'm looking at it.
Our topic today is revising history.
I keep doing that. Hitting the wrong button, not revising history.
I mean, you're editing the video, so you could absolutely go through and cut out that mispressed button. Because what is video editing but revising how the game is played? In seriousness, the concept of historical revisionism does come up very critically to the plot, because the fact that memories can be stored and viewed in their unvarnished form in a pensieve is a major boon to the wizarding world. However, Dumbledore has spent some time trying to gather key memories about Voldemort's past, because that is the key to finding his Horcruxes so he can be ultimately defeated. And one of these memories comes from Professor Slughorn, who, when giving the memory to Dumbledore, altered it to paint himself in a better light. Without the information in that memory, Dumbledore and Harry cannot be certain what they need to do, so it is critical beyond words that they get this information from Slughorn. But who, given the chance to, as we've seen, paint themselves in the best possible light, even though Slughorn very messily edited it, it is very clear, like, it is very much, I have sticky noted another person's face on top of this. Like, you know that famous photograph with Stalin and a couple of other officials in the background, and one of them who got on Stalin's bad side was edited out of the picture?
Yep. That was a lot cleaner than what happened here.
Yeah, let's say we took that picture, but instead of actually successfully photo editing him out in the negative, Slughorn just, like, put a crayon drawing of a tree on top of him. That's about the level of finesse. It's obscure enough that they know something else is behind the edit, but they can't tell what.
It's thorough enough that they can't identify what's been changed.
Yes. So, this actually comes up a bit in my line of work, even though I am an English teacher, because I make a big deal of trying to teach historical context that goes with my books, because, well, if you're going to read Huck Finn, it kind of helps to know a little bit about how badly Reconstruction was going at the time of the writing. And Reconstruction is kind of ground zero for some of the biggest historical revisionism in U.S. history. And I don't really want to segue Harry Potter into that too hard, but yeah, someone always benefits from an alteration of the fact. You have to figure out how, and how that does or does not match up. And in this case, it's very easy to see how it doesn't match up to the documents of that era, the 40-plus years leading up to that era, and we might do Huck Finn on the channel at some point, so I'll try to save this for that, but the point is, the alteration to historical fact is very, very clear and beyond obvious, even to those who benefit most from that alteration of the facts. And the only reason people would not know otherwise is if they were taught by people who are already so thoroughly bought into the misinterpretation that they've never ever heard otherwise and have been shielded very viciously from all conflicting evidence.
Hi. That was my childhood. I grew up in Texas, in a tiny town. Ground zero for that kind of thing. I had teachers who referred to the Civil War as the War of Northern Aggression, completely unironically. History teachers, mine. Not just some, like, random math teacher or jock gym coach.
Yeah, ask them sometime why Oklahoma has a panhandle and see how quiet they get.
I actually don't know the answer to that.
Okay, that land used to belong to Texas, but it's above the parallel that was defined by the Missouri Compromise. If they had not ceded that land to Oklahoma, Texas would have had to enter as a free state.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's really easy to prove. You know what you do? You take a U.S. map and you hold a ruler up.
Oh yeah, we were
at the bottom of Missouri.
We were taught about the Mason-Dixon line, but I'd never put those two and two together, and it was never mentioned in class. Anyway, we're getting a bit off topic.
Oh, we are definitely off topic, but my point is, someone always benefits from the misappropriation of truth, and sometimes, even if they themselves long-term would benefit more from the unvarnished truth being brought to light, ego gets in the way, or short-term gain gets in the way. Slughorn does not really want to reflect on the dangerous information he gave to Tom Riddle, not being fully aware of the kind of person Tom Riddle would become, even if Dumbledore was, because I guess Dumbledore was just that good. But it would greatly benefit Harry and Dumbledore, who are the primary forces of opposition to what Voldemort is trying to do, to have this information just to know what they're up against. Because what Slughorn is withholding is the fact that he actually talked quite a bit with Tom Riddle about the nature of Horcruxes, and only belatedly in the conversation told him it was a bad idea that he should not do. In the edited version, he immediately tells Tom to get out of his office, he's not talking about that. Which is a much better impression, but they need to know exactly how much he knows. Because it's not just, oh, what is a Horcrux? Like, he clearly already knew about them, or he wouldn't have known to ask. But what Voldemort was asking about was the ability to create multiple, for extra backups and safeguards against a date of death. Specifically, he thought the number 7 would be significant, so could I split my soul that many times so there are 7 parts of my soul? And that involves, you know, the creation of a Horcrux involves committing murder. So, this means 16-year-old or so Tom Riddle was already planning to become a serial killer or mass murderer. I'm never quite sure on the distinction between the two.
Serial killer has a pattern, mass murderer is just about volume.
And I'm not sure with him, because we do find out that, you know, he does have a pattern, but I'm going to save that until we actually talk about the Horcruxes specifically in our episode. So we'll get back to that later. But yeah, Slughorn, even with, you know, the potential fate of the world in the balance, needs to be manipulated into coming to terms with the truth about his memory to Harry. It takes blatant emotional manipulation, which Harry does guided by Felix Felicis. He needs supernatural aid to get this information out of somebody who really does not want it to come to light. Pushes the button really hard of, you said my mother was your favorite student. This information telling me what happened could help avenge her death. Don't you want to do justice to Lily Evans? And to be fair, I have known teenagers who can be that manipulative. Harry, is not the scalpel that was needed without the aid of Felix Felicis, though. He is a very blunt instrument. And we can honestly see this come up elsewhere as well, just with the, you know, we get to see Harry's perspective versus Malfoy's perspective on how Harry and Malfoy have been interacting. It's always interesting to see that. Because we've seen the entire book that Harry thinks he's in the right, Harry thinks that, Malfoy is up to something, and because Harry has never gotten in serious trouble at school before, anything he does is default the right decision because he is the good boy hero.
Mm-hmm.
Up to and including when he straight up attacked Malfoy with what could be easily construed as attempted murder. So, yeah. But yeah, Slughorn is really our big one here for revised history, and the fact that Dumbledore is having to piece together everything he knows about Voldemort tells you that Voldemort is also a big piece of that as well, because Voldemort desperately does not want the legacy of Tom Riddle to be remembered. Everything Voldemort has been doing has been to cement his legacy as the heir of Salazar Slytherin, forget everything about his Muggle past, and revel in his wizarding heritage. So, he changes his name to something that very few people would recall him using, and he silences anyone who could threaten that, hides all sorts of pieces of himself all over the place, and generally makes it as difficult as possible for people to learn the truth about him. Because, well, if the mystique falls apart, he's not as impressive, is he?
Nope.
And I'm pretty sure that is the reason that Dumbledore is so insistent on referring to him as Tom whenever he can. Which touches on other awkward topics that we've mentioned before.
I was about to say, we pretty much covered that subject. Yeah.
So it's an interesting intersection of two different concepts there, but yeah. And to this end, it is kind of interesting that in this book, the two major examples we have of revising history are both Slytherins, and it is, again, both to cement a very specific legacy in the minds of those who interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we want to dig back to other books, we can basically say Lockhart did the same thing, because literally rewrote people's memories so they couldn't contradict him and put his name on stuff. So we can put that on revising history and plagiarism, then yeah.
Yeah, that's basically the only non-Slytherin example we have right now.
Yeah, to some extent we could look at Rufus Scrimgeour's attempts to just gloss over Harry's history with Umbridge as some form of revisionist history, though that might just be insensitivity and not really realizing the extent of how wretched a person Umbridge is.
Yeah, I'd call that less revisionist history and more just political obfuscation.
Yeah, like I said, it was kind of a stretch, but I was trying to see if we had anything else to talk about, because otherwise I guess this is just going to be a shorter episode than we thought.
Nothing wrong with that. We've had a few short episodes before. But unless we wanted to go into some further detail on the Ministry's cover-ups, I think we've pretty much run this one's course.
I think we went the cover-ups pretty thoroughly in books past, because it's more focused, but yeah, I'm okay to call this one an end here.
Yep, in that case, we will see you all next time. Catch y'all later.
Later.